Hello, everyone, and welcome to the AP Sports Podcast, our first ever one that we are doing here. I know, hopefully first of many, but on this podcast, just real quick for the intro, what I will be doing is I'll be talking about sports, mainly college football, NFL, NBA, NHL, and MLB. Those will be the main sports that I will be covering on here. So if you guys are wanting to tune in and hear all of that, just subscribe down, drop a follow. But today what I wanted to start out with was my top 25 for the college football year coming in this spring or in the fall. So this is post-spring, post-transfer portal top 25. So if you, real quick, just to get started, the teams that I do not have, which these teams that I had an argument to make case for to put in my 20 through 25, the teams that it was more of, I think by the end of the year they could be in, but it's mainly a matter of right now what I think, and I don't think they can break the top 25, but I think they can throughout the entire year. These teams include West Virginia, Wisconsin, Texas A&M, Virginia Tech, Kentucky, Boise State, and Nebraska. Those are the teams that I do not have in, which each team I think is going to be really good. I think Nebraska, West Virginia, and Virginia Tech are teams that I think will surprise a lot of people, but that's a conversation for another day. But to get into it, I'll start with the top 25. At 25, I have the Kansas Jayhawks. Now, Kansas team that they went 9-4 last year. They surprised a lot of people, but it's just a matter of what I think they can get done this upcoming year. Last year, Jalen Daniels wasn't healthy, wasn't a 100% every single game. Everyone knew that, but they still happened to put up a good season, the first winning season in a long time over there at Kansas. So that is a big plus. Lance Leipold at the head coach, he brings a lot of excitement, a lot of energy, obviously. Jalen Daniels at quarterback is what I just said. And right here it says how I think the reason why I have Kansas ranked high, which I think they have a chance to put up 9-10 win season. They could be in the race if we look now. From now, if we can look in October, November, early November, they could be in the running for the Big 12 championship because of all the new incoming teams and a lot of people playing, and Kansas' schedule a lot of people don't think is very strong. But at Kansas, they are returning their 4 best receivers. Lawrence Arnold, their leading target receiver last year, he comes in. I've seen him play. He's very explosive. He can hurt you real quick if you leave him open. He averaged 18 yards a catch, and now imagine that with Daniels being healthy, which, I mean, most of these stats were when he was healthy, but it's just, I think Kansas could shock a lot of people. But Lawrence Arnold's back. Quentin Skinner, he averaged over 20 a catch, and Luke Grimm is coming back as well over there at Kansas. So I think that is big. They're going to have a veteran core over there. They have people who have had experience. The offense should explode if the offensive line does a job, though. As you know, if they cannot protect Daniels, if they can give him a clean pocket, who knows what could happen. He may not be able to throw, but he's very athletic. His athleticism can move him around in the pocket, roll outside the pocket, throw to his right, throw to his left. I think Jalen Daniels is a very, very good player. I think he's a great playmaker, and a lot of defensive coordinators do not want to play him for that reason. But the offensive line, though, going back to that, it isn't great. The center transfer, Shane Bumgarner, he will need to step up. They're going to need to step up. On that offensive line, they're going to need to step up. Last year, they didn't really do a lot. The run game was okay. Passing game was pretty good, but they're going to need to do a lot better in that department of the game. I just think if that offensive line can do their job, this Kansas Jayhawk team could be a 10-win team, 11-win team maybe, because on defense, They have 7 key players returning. Okay? 7 key players. And they have a transfer from North Dakota State, Javier Derrett. That is a name a lot of people will just go over their heads. He's a playmaker. He's a playmaker. I've watched the film on him. He is very good. At North Dakota State, he was very good. But then the defense, though, this is the biggest problem right here, this stat. In the red zone last year, the Kansas Jayhawk defense allowed teams to go 49 of 50 in the red zone on scoring chances. 49 of 50. Just let that thing sink in. So, if you're an offense and you go down and drive down and you get in the red zone about 6 times a game, it's a guaranteed at least 5. Guaranteed. 5 times you're scoring. That doesn't matter if it's field goals, touchdowns, anything. Scoring. You cannot win ball games if you're going to go down there and let teams go 49 of 50 in your red zone. It's the bend don't break mindset. You can't let that happen. If they can take away that, if they can just be a little better, maybe 35 of 50, maybe those 15 times they don't allow a score are in big moments. Like the one time last year was against Oklahoma, which turned out to be big, but 49 of 50, I just don't know how, as a team, you can win when you let teams go 49 of 50 in your red zone. But I think they can change that. There's a lot of 50-50 games that are winnable on their schedule. The biggest one I think here is Kansas State. They play at Kansas State, which I think Kansas State's a very good team. I think Kansas State will shock a lot of people, which I will be talking about them later on. But they have a good team over there at Kansas State. But Kansas, I do think they're pretty good. I think at 25 is correct, or I think they should be about. Maybe some people have them higher. Maybe some people don't even have them in the top 25. But I think 25 is where I would put them at. So, but that will wrap it up for Kansas as we move on to the next team. Next team I have is Iowa State, staying in the Big 12. Iowa State. This team, I was debating on where to put them. I really thought about putting them later on just because I do have a little bit of question marks there, which I'll get into, but they are returning 20 of their 22 starters. Very experienced. All of them have played very meaningful snaps, every single starter, so that is very good. They're returning 85% of the production. That's a great stat. I mean, if you're returning 85% of your production, that's good. You're having experienced playmakers going to be around the ball. They're going to be around the ball in big key moments this year, which I think Iowa State has a lot of chance to do. That Iowa game, September 7th for them, that's a big one. That's a big one because, yes, Iowa's won. It's been when the games are close. The games are close. They're low scoring, blah, blah, blah. But let's say Iowa somehow, with the offensive coordinator, let's just say, they come out, put up 25 plus. Do you think that offense could go put out 25 plus as well on that Iowa defense that is known for being good? That's what they're known for doing, is playing good defense, being good at special teams. So I think Iowa State is going to have to step up in the offensive department this year, which I think they do. Another big reason why I have Iowa State so high up is if you look at their schedule, they don't have Oklahoma. They don't have Texas. Those are 2 humps they cannot get over. Oklahoma and Texas. They could never get over this, both of them at the same time, the same season. That's what I'm saying. But those are 2 huge teams that are now on their schedule that I think could play a big part into them being so successful this year. If you look at their schedule, they have a favorable start to the season with Big 12 play and just in general. They start off with North Dakota, and then The at Iowa game, though, week 2, that's tricky. And then you got Arkansas State. And then your first 2 Big 12 games are Houston-Baylor. You could be 4-1, 5-0 entering that first test at West Virginia. But even then, if you're 4-1 with your loss to Iowa, which is what I'm assuming if you had a loss at that time, what it would be, I just think you guys at Iowa State, I just think with everything they have, with you have Jalen Noel, Jaden Higgins, your backup receiver, they're expected to have some breakout years. You added Isaiah Alston from Army and Elijah Green from North Texas. I think those are 2 huge additions. Expect the running back, Abu Sama, to have a huge year with a veteran group in front of him. Tight end Ben Brahmer, he will be a huge part of the passing game as well. I will say you have a tough back half, with the last 4 being at Kansas, Cincinnati, at Utah, hosting Kansas State. Those 4 games are tough. I think you can beat Cincinnati, but Kansas, Utah, Kansas State, those 3 are 3 big ones. If you can go 2-1 on those 3, that is a huge win, because I think at that time you could be looking at you guys having 7-8 wins entering that 4-game stretch. If you win 2 of those, or if you win 2-3 of those, you're looking pretty good. Especially since, which we'll get into it later, with Utah and Kansas State. You'll see them along the roads. You just heard about Kansas. So that Kansas-Iowa State matchup, that'll be big at the end. That'll be big. A lot of Big 12 implications, a lot of that. I also have Rocco Becht. I have him coming back this year and being better than he was last year. I think he will improve a lot. I think he'll be more experienced. He's going to be a better leader. I think he'll do really good in the pass game, especially with all those weapons that he has and a lethal run game, especially with the offensive line being pretty good. On defensive side of the ball, though, I have Iowa State being really good at defense. A fun fact about them is on offensive line and defensive line, they have every starter returning from last year. Every starter returning on both lines of the football. A lot of teams are struggling with that. If both of those lines can stay healthy, Iowa State's a lethal team. I think Iowa State could be a very lethal team. So, but on to the next team, and this is a team that I am going to be pretty big on throughout the year. It could cause some a little bit of controversy, but I think they're going to be very good. The Miami Hurricanes. I think they're going to be pretty good. I think they're going to be really good. That addition to offense with Cam Ward was an unbelievable pickup. Mario Cristobal, you can tell he recruits, he gets transfers. People come there. Yes, I know the win column hasn't been there, but I think this is the year they can start to turn around and they get it figured out down in Miami. But I think they're very good. Cam Ward is a playmaker. He's on my Heisman list, which will come out later, but he is very good. He is very good. A lot of people don't give him credit for what he's doing over there in the Pac-12, but I think he is a playmaker. He's a baller. He goes out. And I think if you put him in the right system, he can do very well. You guys are also returning receivers Xavier Strepro, Jacoby George, and Horton. He'll be taking the slot role of Colby Young, who went to Georgia. But though that receiving core, that's a good team. That's a good team. The receiving cores, they're good. Quarterback play was not good last year. I think that limited them where their ceiling could be. So imagine now with a good quarterback, if he plays just good, their potential goes even higher. Their ceiling goes higher. So I think this receiving room is very good. At running backs, they have senior Henry Parrish Jr. and Mark Fletcher Jr. They will both be used effectively. They kind of rode the hot hand, if you looked at it last year, of each game as it went on, who had the hot hand in the game. But I really think that this team, I think they could be really good. They could be really good. And another reason why is right here, the defensive line. That defensive line of Miami is lethal. I think they will be one of the best defensive lines in the country. With addition of Elijah Alston and the freshman standout last year, Reuben Bain Jr., who incredible freshman year last year. What was it, 7.5 sacks? Was that right? But he's explosive. They're explosive. Those two together, that's going to be very, 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 very good. Two more defensive linemen in Jared Harrison Hunt and Marley Cook. Those guys, seniors, they are experienced. They're leaders. They're veterans. That is what you want. You want them with Bain and Alston coming in, with Bain still being there and Alston coming in. Those 4 guys will be very good, and they have others behind that. Just don't think they have 4, and that's all they have. They're going to rotate guys in and out. They have the depth. But another player on that defense, an X factor that I have, the reason why I think Miami will be so good in the run game is right here. Francis Kiko Mwagwa. If I pronounce that wrong, I'm sorry. But he is a star. He's a star. He flies to the ball. He can go from sideline to sideline in a hurry. He can cover. He is a star. I think he could have a chance to be in linebacker of the year conversation. He's really good. NFL prospect right there. But the biggest question I have is that secondary. That secondary at Miami was not good last year. They did not play good. They did not really help out the team a lot. But we'll see what comes from them in the future. I just think Miami will be really good. If that Miami team can hold teams to, let's just say under 350 total yards, that team's going to be really good. Because I think that team's going to put up a lot of points. It's going to take a lot of points to beat them. But if you look at their schedule, it's pretty favorable. No Clemson on the schedule, which is really big for them. No Clemson. And when they play Florida State, they host it. Yeah, I know they play the Hard Rock Stadium. Yeah, but they host it. So you're not playing at FSU in a tough environment. You're not playing there, which is really good. As you see, your first game of the year is at Florida, which I'll go on to that game more. You'll see that game later on when I talk about it. But that game determines a lot. I think it determines, because someone in that game will get down. Someone in that game will start panicking. There's both those teams, a lot of hype coming up this season. Billy Napier is on the hot seat, which we'll get into this game later. But I think Mario Cristobal and the Miami Hurricanes have a chance to do really good. I think they could be a sleeper team in the ACC, but like to win it all. So that is my opinion on that. But Miami Hurricanes, I think they're going to be really good. Now, if we go down to the number 22 team in the country, I have the USC Trojans. First year in the Big Ten. First year without Caleb Williams. No Brendan Rice. No Taj Washington. But we'll have to see how they respond. We saw in their bowl game, Miller Moss, he is exceptional. He is a star. It does not matter what QB Lincoln Riley can have. Whatever QB Lincoln Riley has, he turns into a star, which we just see that. Miller Moss, I think, is going to be the next example of that. Miller Moss is explosive. Maybe not as playmaker ability as Caleb Williams, but he is close. It's good. Miller Moss, I think he's really good. I think his weapons around him. Zachariah Branch, he's coming back for his sophomore year. He is explosive. That word may not even describe it. He is one of the best playmakers in all of college football. You look at what he does, returning the football on special teams, watching him catch the ball out of space, screen pass, jet sweeps. It does not matter. If you give him the ball, he will go make a play. But they need to get healthy. They need to get healthy. They need to stay healthy. The offensive line was okay last year. It was pretty good. But they got some good key transfers. Some good key transfer to offensive line, which I think will help a lot for Miller Moss, as it will give him more time to throw, more time to find these stars like Zachariah Branch. The defensive line, they've made huge changes. The big thing with USC is, yes, they lost Caleb Williams and other top prospects, but that defense was not good. Defense was letting anyone score. But they made changes. New defensive coordinator, Danton Lynn. If I pronounce it wrong, I'm sorry again. But he is from UCLA. He wants to get better. He wants to win. He goes to a program with a really good offense. So now if he can help that offense limit the points that are allowed, that's a lot of wins. You'll see it pile up in the win column. They stressed in the offseason to be more disciplined at defense and have more grit, more dog work, as you would say. They really stress that. They force that among their team. They want to limit the penalties. They want to limit the amount of explosive plays that they allow. They want to have the bend, don't break mindset over at USC, which I think they can have. And I think they're going to be pretty good if that defense can be really good, which the defense was the main focus of that game, or of the offseason, pardon me. If you look at their schedule, though, it's a little rough. You start off with LSU week 1. Sunday, September 1st in Vegas. That game is going to be a huge game, ABC 7:30 prime time, but that game for both of these programs is going to be huge. You'll hear me talk about LSU later on, but that is going to be a very, very, very big game. We'll have to see how that plays out. That's our first look at this new USC defense going at it versus the new LSU team without Jaden Daniels, but we will also get into that later. The schedule also is that easy because 2 weeks after that, or 3 weeks after that, 2 games after that, you go at Michigan, 3:30. They're doing a stripe out at Michigan. That is going to be a very, very tough game. And then you play Wisconsin, who I think is really sneaky. Then you play at Minnesota. You got Penn State. And there you go to Washington. Washington hasn't lost a home game in 22 games. Is that right? I think that's right. And then you end the year with Notre Dame, the rivalry game. That's a big game. I don't know how the schedule will do. We'll see how it does, but on defense also as well. That defense with leader Jamil Muhammad, if he can step up there, lead that defense, new defense coordinator, I think they'll be very good. On to my next team at number 21. Another conference change. Former Pac-12 going to the Big 12 is the Arizona Wildcats. The Arizona Wildcats are they're good. They're good. They're returning a lot of experienced players, a lot of talent. Yes, their coach, he just left to go to Washington, but he brought some players with him. I will say that he brought some players with him, but he also left a very, very good core. Very good core he left. QB Noah Fafita. He is the real deal. He's a very accurate passer, a good pocket presence. I think he'll be very good later on in the season if you watch him grow and expand. Give him more time to play more experienced snaps, which he already has a lot last year considering they did have 5 top 25 wins last year. So that is very good. All-American receiver, Tatora McMillan. I think he's back with also, which he's an All-American. He's good. Noah Fafita, if he can throw to him, he'll be very good. They also got some key transfers. Montana, Lamonius Craig from Colorado. He's a very good playmaker, good wide receiver. And then they got Keon Burnett at tight end, which Noah Fafita, he has all these playmakers to pass to. And I think having all these playmakers to pass to, it helps you. It makes it better. He's not only throwing to McMillan now, he's throwing to other very, very good players on the outside. The passing game, will be there. It will be effective. It will be effective throughout the whole entire season. New coach Brent Brennan, he hired 2 great coordinators on both sides of the ball to come in and do what they do. Fafita, he chose Arizona over to go to Washington with his old coach. So, and you'll hear about Washington later on. But Arizona, Fafita leading the way as a leader, showing them that he wants to be there. He wants to win in an Arizona uniform. That's what he wants to do. But the one question mark I have on offense is the running back room. The running back room. Because the offensive line. The offensive line's great. They have multiple NFL draft prospects. They're returning a lot of key guys. They are good. The offensive line's good. They block well. The run block game, it's amazing. It's amazing. Pass block, good. It's just the running back room. The running back room is uncertain, especially since Conley last year, he joined Jed Fisk, my bad, sorry. And he joined him at Washington, so we'll have to see. But if we go to the defense of Arizona, Jacob Manu, he returns as the star and the leader for that defense. Safety Gunnar Maldonado, he returns as well, which 3 defensive linemen followed over to Washington with their former coach. But new starters emerged. Rising star, if I'm really sorry, if I pronounce the name wrong, I'm very sorry, but he is a star. Tate Oyunglagale. It's a tongue twister. It's a tongue twister, but he is a star. He's an unbelievable star, and he'll be looking to improve from last season, which last season he was unreal. Great for them. He's a huge reason why they won those 5 top 25 games, why they were so good on defense last year in those games. But the Swiss Army knife for this defense, though, will be nickelback Traden Stukes. Keep that name in mind. He will be the Swiss Army knife. He can play multiple positions from multiple looks on the defense. He will show multiple looks. He'll play on both sides of the ball, or both options of the ball, right or left. He's a star. He's a star. The special teams play, it's also very good, which that's what you need. You need good special teams play. They have one of the best kickers. They have one of the best kickers in the nation, and their return game is unreal with Celestine back there. They have Rayshawn Luke. They are stacked. They have a lot of key returning productions, a lot of key players that are coming back. Now we have to see what they do with that production. I think Noah Fafita will help the Arizona Wildcats do. If we look at their schedule, I really like it. Third game, September 13th, they play at Kansas State. That's a big one. That would be their first real test, entering Big 12 play as well. Right after that, they play at Utah. Tough place to play. Those are back-to-back games. Actually, pardon me, they actually have a week off in between those games, but their bye week is in there. But their schedule, it looks pretty good. They end the year pretty favorable with at UCF, Houston, at TCU, and Arizona State. So not crazy hard, but I think Arizona could be a team where we're sitting here again, another Big 12 team. They could be in the hunt. They could be in the hunt to go to Arlington. They could be in the hunt to go play one of these teams, with the favorites being Oklahoma State, Utah, all of them, Kansas State. They could be in the hunt. If they could take down Kansas State, maybe Utah, go one of those games, 2-0, they have a very good shot. They have a very, very good shot. And the last team that I'll be talking about today, and wow, this team, the Iowa Hawkeyes at 20. The Iowa Hawkeyes, ladies and gentlemen. And you already know what I'm about to say. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. Offense. We already know they're going to go out, they're going to play great defense, they're going to be great at special teams, they're going to pin you within the 20, they're going to not allow you to do explosive plays on them. They are going to be good in that department. But it's offense. Offense is just, the offense is hard, especially It's just if the offense can help the defense a little bit, considering the defense is also returning 7, they're returning key players from last year's 7th-ranked defense. They were ranked 7th last year in defense. They were really good. Linebacker Jay Higgins and Nick Jackson, they could be one of the best linebacker duos in the country, which I think they will be. In this upcoming fall, I think Iowa, if they can have an offense, just an offense, they will be lethal. They will be lethal. They don't really have one sure pass rusher on defense, but let me tell you something. All those guys, they can get to the quarterback. They can get to the quarterback. There's not going to be one guy that just explodes off the charts to you. Maybe there could be. Maybe they can have one guy that just explodes this year, but they have multiple guys that can get to the quarterback. They have multiple guys that can cover. They have multiple guys that can run people down if they let them get behind them. They are very good at defense. Yes, they have no Cooper DeJean, as you know, but safeties Xavier Nwankpa, and if I pronounce that right, I'm sorry, and Quinn Schulte. They will be flying all over the field. Which, this is why I think Iowa could be a top 15, 12 team by the end of the year with their schedule, what they have. I think their offense is going to be a lot better. It's going to be extremely better than what it was. I think their offense is going to be good. That's just my opinion. New offense coordinator, McNamara, he's back and healthy. Luke Lakey, he is back. I think Iowa will be good. I will be really good. But if real quick, if we go back to Cade McNamara, he's a winner. He helped not rebuild that program in Michigan, but he helped them get back to the top. He helped them turn that 2-4, 2-5 COVID team into a team the following year. Go 11-1, taking down Ohio State, taking down Penn State. That one lost to Michigan State that year. But he is a winner. He knows what to do. He knows how to win. He wants to win. He's a great leader, very experienced, very meaningful experience snaps as well. He knows what it will take. But Tim Lester, the new offensive coordinator hired there, his main focus offseason is a pass-first mentality. You know Iowa's going to have their little run plays. They'll be good at running the football a little bit. Offensive line's good. But Caden Proctor, that was something this offseason. Goes to Iowa, then transfers back over to Alabama. But I think he will put them into a very good scenario there at Iowa. Tim Lester, I really do. I really think so. Their offensive line will be good. Tight end play will obviously be good. It's Iowa. You know their tight end play will be good. The Iowa offense, though, if we're looking at last year's stats, they need to be better on third down. That is what killed them. They were 30% on third down last year. 30%. That is worse in the country. That is one of the worst in the country. 30%. They don't even have to jump up drastically. If you can just get to 38 to 40%, 35 to 40%, that's good. That is fine. You're giving your defense more time to rest. You're driving down the field more chances to score, more chances to get that great field goal unit into range, more chances for you to get into the red zone, score more, which I think what they will do. But it's just they need to be better on offense. That is the only question marks I have for them is offense. They have, if you're looking at the schedule, they have Ohio State October 5th, which I think they'll be fine. They host Washington, which I think is good. They host Wisconsin. They have to travel to UCLA and to Maryland, which those are two games that could be tough environments, but I think they could pull it through. And then they end the year with Nebraska, which I think they'll get done. And then also, I forgot to mention, second week, Iowa State, which is a big game. But that will do it for my college football post-spring, post-transfer portal top 25, 20 through 25. Tomorrow, I will get you the 15 through 19, which there's some good teams in there that we'll talk about. But as always, or as I should say, if you enjoyed it, go subscribe, go give it a like, go to the TikTok, give it all a like. If you like enjoying this, if you liked what you heard, just show some support. But I will be here, and tomorrow actually too, I'm going to have a segment. I'll have the college football segment, and I will be talking about the NBA Finals as well, because Game 3 is tonight, Wednesday night. So that will be cool, Mavericks need it. Mavericks need this one bad. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. And I will see you guys tomorrow.